Hey there, welcome to the video. It's a new month, so let's go over what my income accounts have produced. Again, it's not to brag, it's just to provide actual data and maybe open your mind. Maybe there's another way to trade. Maybe there's something else you could do to secure your future. And that's what these videos are all about. I'll report my results along the way, and maybe you find that helpful. Now, when I started this a few months ago, this was the idea. And this is the idea behind this sort of investing. Instead of just, I'm going to get as much money in my account as possible and I blindly hope that enough is enough, this is creating income that actually comes in and then figuring out a way to use that income. Okay. It's a totally different mindset. This is more of a rental property. I don't really care what the rental properties are worth on the open market. I just care how much money they bring in. It's real and it's tangible and it's fascinating, and that's why I'm so interested in it. So when I started this was all of my accounts, or these were the amounts for all the accounts. You can see it was growing, and that's the idea. Instead of worrying about growing my nest egg, I'm growing the amount of money that comes in. Okay. And so far, January 25, February, blah, 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 it was going great. This was a month that had 5 weeks in it, 5 payments, so it went higher. So let's get to what's happening now. And it's November 2025. And as you can see, it's not a perfect step all the way up. But that was May. Dipped down when it went to the 4-week months. And then another big one. And then the biggest one yet was October. So last month was the biggest one yet. You can kind of see it was about $5,400, a little bit more. Okay. So it keeps rising, and now it's a little bit above 54. Now, overall, I am trying snowball analytics. A lot of people on YouTube like it. I'm going to try it for a year. So far, I'd say I'd give it a 6.8 out of 10, maybe. I like it so far. But regardless, this includes, and it depends on how accurate the software is. We'll find out over time. But I did a manual check, and I think it's pretty close. But if you add in the IRA that we have and also the Robinhood account, most of my focus is on my 4 Schwab accounts, but this includes the Robinhood account and the IRA, so it's at 8.4 thousand. So if we were to take all the income from all of the accounts and add it up, it's about 8.4 or $8,400. Okay, not terrible. As I've said in the previous videos, I've been trading pretty hardcore. It's pretty much consumed my life. Every moment that I wasn't on the tennis court, I thought about this, right? Seems like. That's been since 2004. And what have we learned? Please don't let anyone tell you there's only one way to do it, or even that one way is best, because best is obviously up to the person. There's definitely more than one way. And the problem runs into in trading when you think there's only one way and you got to do that exact thing. These videos are just to open your mind, okay? And the mind opening, of course, is what if the goal was money coming in, not paper profits, which, you can't spend. It's neat to see them grow, but what do I do about that? All right. The growth matters, but it doesn't change your everyday life, because at some point you have to take the money, right? And it's the taking of the money that I'm deeply, deeply concerned with, or obsessed with, or interested in, whatever you want to say. Okay? Because the difference is, what if I, instead of worrying about growth or trying to find the next great trading system, instead of worrying about any of that, what if I just did QYLD, which is an income ETF? Not a very good one, in my opinion, but what if this was my focus? I heard about it back in 2014. I just said, oh, that sounds better than growth or worrying about trading systems. What if I just invested in that and then reinvested every time money came in? Well, in a hypothetical 10K account, you can see over time the money that's coming in would have grown hypothetically. And now that's $2,500 a month. I'm sorry, $2,500 a year. Excuse me, $2,500 a year on a $10,000 account. That's 25% yield per year, right? So over time, if I had done that on a $100,000 account, I'd have what? $25,000 coming in. On a $10,000 account, it's $2,500. And I hope I said that right? 2,500 for 10, 25,000 for 100,000. Well, that would be nice to have $25,000 coming in each year and possibly growing, instead of worrying about trading systems, worrying about picking stocks, worrying about blah, blah, blah. So it's just another way to think about it. If I had just done a mediocre to bad ETF, that's where it would be. Or an ETF that everybody loves, it combines income and a little growth, which people love that. What if I just did SPY-I? Well, you can see the income is growing and looks like 2025 is on track to grow again. Again, this is portfolio income. If we reinvested everything, you can see it's growing. There's no discussion of the stock price in either of these, right? I'm not talking about stock price. Again, what if the focus was somewhere else with money that can actually be used? All right. Again, if you haven't seen the previous one, what size account is that? 5.4K on about 110,000, a little bit less than that, right around that, right? Again, if you add it all up across all of the accounts, it's about a 37% yield per year. How many accounts? 4 in Schwab, and then we have the Robinhood, then we have the IRA. What's the total return? And here's the thing, I don't care. I do care about the money. Obviously, the total amount of money is super important. But again, here's the problem. Total return. I have more than you, or I have a lot of money. To blindly think that is a problem. And that's what I'm trying to at least put out there, put in your mind. Here's the SPY. Here's just an example. SPY. Everybody loves that, right? What is it? $11 trillion in SPY-like vehicles now? Okay. People love SPY. It's basically an index fund. If you put $100,000 into SPY in the magical time of July 2007, nothing happening at that time, right? If you just said, listen, I've got 100K. I've done a great job. I've been a trader. I've been a day trader. I've been automated trader. Whatever I've been, I've made $100,000. Now, I just need a little bit per month. I just need $750 a month to pay X. I'm going to start pulling that out. I've done my job. Stock market was cranking along. We had the dot-com crash, 2000, 2003-ish, and now we're doing great. 2007, what could go wrong? Well, if you pull out $750 a month, you go to zero. That's a problem. I had built my account hypothetically up, but I pulled out too much on a quote-unquote growth instrument, and I went to zero. Right? What does that say? 2019, I'm at zero. See what I'm saying? SPY doesn't create income, nothing to take from without disturbing the principal. And when you take money out while the principal is dropping, it's a problem. It's a real problem. Is growth still a viable option? Sure, we'll talk about that. But holy moly, that's scary. Correct or not correct? You decide, okay? The total return advantage doesn't really exist in a situation like that. And again, it's not how big the account grows. It's how much I can actually take out. That's what truly matters. And with SPY and QQQ, I've done the research. If you go back to the dot-com crash, and the reason I use that is because why? Everyone's talking that AI is the next dot-com crash. There are a lot of things that aren't the same, of course, but it's out there. So what if we get a crash like that? Well, if you did this same sort of thing, started pulling money out of SPY or QQQ, the only safe percentage per year is 3%. So that's 3% of your total account per year. That's the only safe. If you go higher than that, guess what you get? Starting in 2000, you get that, zero. Okay? I've done the math for you. Do it also yourself. But 3% is generous. For the QQQ, it's about 1.9% is the only safe way to survive. Kind of scary, right? But that's the scariness of growth. Will we get another dot-com crash? I don't know, right? But regardless, if you want to pull out 3% per year, you need $2 million in your account if you just want it to pay you $60K a year, and that's by selling shares. It's a lot of money to build up, right? You think you got to 500,000? Well, you're not even close to all the way there if you want to be safe. If you don't want to be safe, then of course that's a different conversation, okay? So a solution to this is to create a lot of income. That's what these videos are about, and then pull out a fraction of that income, right? If income is coming in, I have options. If there's an emergency, I can take all the money. Yikes, we needed something bad happened. Well, I don't have to sell shares. I could just take the income in the short term. Can't do it permanently, probably, right? Or if things are going great, just got a promotion, whatever, then I'm not going to take any of that money and watch the income grow. But the thing about income to consider is that you never have to sell shares. With growth, you have to sell shares. And in a downturn, that's a problem. Right. Bottom line, I'm very, very sad I didn't get to this earlier. I wish someone would have educated me. So I'm trying to at least pass these ideas along to you. Now, remember, I can use this income, right? If you're scared about the principal going down, and if you use super high yield, the principal probably will go down, at least on paper. Now, total amount of money goes up, but the principal goes down. Well, you can take your income and buy QQQ if you want. That will definitely, as long as it's a bull market, send your principal back up. But you can get the income first and then decide what you want to do. It is an option. Once my income gets to my happy freedom level, then you can just take the rest of it over and above that and buy growth. Again, this isn't for everyone. I'm not saying it is. There's no one way. Some people do find comfort in the non-NAV eroding SPY, right? But looking at what we've looked at, is income worth a look? Well, he says he absolutely will. I don't know if I believe him. Okay. All right. I'll be tracking this stuff and providing these updates over time. I do have a DIP program that's already been underway, and it will grow again in January. And there'll be information that in the description. So talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.